Hello and welcome back to my second rolling vlog. In these videos I like to give you a first class point of view from a wheelchair user's position, and this time we're in Mexico and today we're visiting the Teotihuacan Pyramids. But first we're having a very cultural stop, and be warned, it is a very bumpy ride because the ground is very uneven in Mexico for wheelchairs, just a warning point. But this is the Plaza de las Tres Culturas, which is translated to Plaza of the Three Cultures, which mixes Mesoamerican history with Spanish history and modern Mexican history. And it's also quite a sad point in Mexico because this is the place where a 1968 protest took place amongst students who were protesting against the 1968 Mexico Olympics, and the government prime minister at the time ordered an execution where a firing squad open fired, and the government reported around 40 deaths, but it's much disputed that it was well over 100. But I'll let my tour guide Marco explain better.
The name of the area where we are now is known as Plaza de las Tres Culturas. We are in Tlatelolco. Tlatelolco is all this part that we have here in front of us. Has this name because the original tribe that lived here, they were known as the Tlatelolcas. They were conquered by the Aztecs, and this was a part of a periphery of a city that was known as Tenochtitlan, a city that we had in the middle of the lake. It's really interesting, the description that we have in this area in front of us. This part used to be a fly market, and the thing is that many people travel through Europe before they arrive here, and they describe this market in a really particular way. They said that they have never seen a market as big, as clean, as well organized as the ones that we used to have here. Also, it's important to know this cosmovision that Spain has when they arrive here. When they arrive here, they saw pagan tribes, and they tried to convert everybody to Catholicism. That's why for them it was really easy to destroy these structures and build churches like the ones we have there in our back. The name of that church is the Church of Santiago.
Yes, it's a bit rough and rocky, but at least it's there. And always, if you're in a tour group, you'll have help, so don't be afraid to go on a tour if you're in a wheelchair user. Help is always at hand. But yeah, that was absolutely a fantastic first stop. Now on to the next one. We're now back in the van driving to Teotihuacan, and some of my tour group were impressed by my independence as a wheelchair user.
It's like you can do it if you want to, you can,
yeah, absolutely.
And you also should, it is important also that the rest of the site should see things as more as an opportunity and to adjust, to help,
yes.
Create these universal standards and all that. It's so important.
One thing I've noticed about Mexico is they have the knowledge. Like, I see the wheelchair sign everywhere,
Yes. Yeah.
But sometimes the infrastructure doesn't match. So they will have the curb like drop down, but then not on the other side. It's about an hour's drive from Mexico City to Teotihuacan, but it is a beautiful scenic route with plenty of houses on the hilltops and mountains, and also some Aztec markers as you cross on the motorway. But as you're coming up to your final turn into Teotihuacan, you'll also see that there's lots of cactuses about, or cacti I should say. But before they took us to the pyramids, they dropped us off at a local school to learn about Aztec culture, including stones, music, and of course some mezcal, a very delicious traditional drink.
Look, sir. And this is a silver one.
And I almost forgot, they made weapons here as well.
They make a knife, they make a arrowhead, they make a macahuiles. Macahuiles is like a machete, it's like bigger like this.
And I also learned something about the markings on that weapon.
This is Quetzalcoatl, the snake feather. The Quetzalcoatl is like a Kukulkan in the May culture. Is the principal goddess we have.
Okay. Wow. So he's a guardian?
Yes. This is God of the sun.
Oh, God of the sun.
Yeah, Tonatiuh.
And to finish it off, Antonio treated us to a song.
This is the old song.
Cover your ears for this next one.
Song.
After finishing that tour with some mezcal, which I forgot to film, we finally arrived at Teotihuacan, which I'm surprised to learn they had disabled parking and my chair was outside the van ready for me. Anyway, Marco took me to a position where there was some shade because I'll warn you, at Teotihuacan, the sun is absolutely unforgiving here. And also, don't forget that there are plenty things you cannot take in, and there's also stalls around where you'll get hustled for some money, so I just keep walking on because they're just trying to make a buck. But these are the things you can't take into Teotihuacan. Just have a quick look and then we'll begin the tour with Marco.
You need a Mexican hat.
Yes. Like my lady friend on the tour says, always bring a hat to Teotihuacan, and also try and get a tour where the ticket is included in the price, because this is the entry point where I almost got stopped, so make sure to enter with your tour guide as well. Just a quick wheelchair user's tip, the gravel is not flat, it's quite deep, so you'll have to wheelie over it if you're a manual wheelchair user, but as Marco is doing now, he came over to help me towards those trees where we'll begin the tour. Yay!
Let's go this way. Okay, so please be welcome to Teotihuacan. We are here. We did it. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay, I would like that first we take a look on the things that we have around us, and we start to identify what we can see around this place. What you can see around this area? Cactus, pyramids, exactly. Let's remember, in the past, every single structure was covered with ground, with dirt, and like this is how this place used to look like in the past. Thanks to this, we still have this place, because if not, probably we could have the same thing that we have in Cholula, in Puebla, where we used to have a pyramid bigger than the ones that we have here, but that was discovered, destroyed, and now on the top we have a church. Here, I would just like to notice that in front of us we have the biggest structure that we have in this area. That is the Pyramid of the Sun, a pyramid that received this name because when the Aztecs arrived here, they saw that the sun was behind the pyramid and we have the sunset in front of the pyramid. But this happened only during 2 months in the year. Before here, we had the sun, we had the rain. And once that we get closer to the pyramid, we are going to identify many references to water and fertility, okay?
That was a great Teotihuacan intro of the Pyramid of the Sun, and this is where the rocky part really begins. There's lots of holes that you have to wheelie over, there's people in your way if you go at a busy time, people coming back from their previous tours. So my advice if you're a wheelchair user watching this and Teotihuacan has always been on your bucket list in Mexico is be prepared to have a long day or have somebody help you around the complex, because you do get to walk around the whole Pyramid of the Sun and towards the back towards the Pyramid of the Moon, which we'll see in a bit. And as you've just heard, there's plenty of locals playing traditional music as you walk around the complex. Like I say, if you're an electric wheelchair user, you'll have a very tough time. But if you're a manual wheelchair user and you know how to roll over stones, you'll do it. But it'll be a very long day. You'll also come up against grass on this tour, but that's actually better because the sun makes the ground so hard. It's actually very easy to roll across. But still, my guide Marco wanted to help me out and continue the next part of the tour of Teotihuacan. And a fun fact is it was nearly voted as a wonder of the world, having more steps than the Pyramid of Egypt, but it was narrowly beaten by Chichen Itza, its compatriot, which I'll have in another video for you, but let's let Marco continue.
260 like the days in the ritual calendar that we used to have in this area in the past. Now here, the population that was estimated in this area was between 100,000 to 200,000 people. When we have a population as big as that, places like this should be designed where we are able to communicate with everybody around us.
Thanks for that, Marco. Now it's time to get a bounce on as we move on from the Pyramid of the Sun to the Pyramid of the Moon. And this is right at the back of the complex, and Marco had some time to show us how this complex was constructed.
We have in the middle, and with the river that we just mentioned a minute ago, the ones that was modified, this area will be divided in 4 parts, like the chamber that we mentioned we have under the Sun Pyramid. Here we are going to see how this place is oriented with the cardinal points, but this orientation is not perfect. The main street that we have in the middle has a small declination of 50 degrees, because originally was not a reference to the north and the south, was a reference to the cumul of stars that we have in the middle of the sky, and the 3 brightest stars that we have in the north of the equator are the 3 big pyramids that we have here, same as the pyramids that we have in Egypt in Giza.
It really is a fantastic and stunning complex, and one of the biggest in the world apparently. Not the biggest pyramids like Egypt, but I took some time to reflect. This place is fantastic. It's beautifully preserved. You hear locals trying to sell trinkets, and it's just fantastic to be here. Definite bucket list for me. But yeah, the ground is a bit tough. You can actually climb the pyramid if you want to, so if you can walk, you can climb the pyramid if you want to. I'm probably just going to sit on a step or something and take a picture, but this has been an absolutely fantastic tour. You only get limited time on this earth, and why experience it in the same place for years and years and years when you can come to beautiful places like this and learn about history and culture? Absolutely fantastic. And now, to finish off this bucket list adventure in Teotihuacan, I will round off the day by touching an Aztec pyramid for the very first time. Bucket list ticked off. Get in. I've always wanted to do that. It feels so smooth. You'd think it being so old, it'd be like rough and ready. Like, there is some sharp edges, but yeah, the steps are very small as well, if you can see. Yeah, the steps haven't got a lot of edge to them, so be careful if you're going to climb up them. But yeah, I've just touched an Aztec pyramid. Absolutely fantastic element of the trip. Follow and subscribe Nate Wheelz for more adventures.